Okay, we put a bunch of things in our composition, but nothing's in perspective yet. So let's move on. Let's put something in perspective. On this side, we're going to put some art. On this side, we're going to put a window. So here we go. A couple of rules for perspective. Not too bad. So first things first, we're going to start with a vertical line. This stuff on this side is going to go to the vanishing point. So instead of being a rectangle or a square, it's going to be more like a trapezoid shape. So we're going to start with a vertical line, and the vertical line is going to go closer to the outside of the picture plane. So the larger line that we're going to draw first is closer to the edge of the paper. The window is going to be kind of in the same place. Like, you wouldn't put a window on the bottom. You want to kind of put it in the same realm. This window was about 2 inches, so let's make the other one 2 inches as well. I'm going to put it a little bit higher because it's in perspective. So we're going to go 1, 2 inches. Okay, so here's my trick. I've made the edge of my window. Now I need to put it into perspective. As soon as I make a line, I start my project with a line, then I'm going to put a dot on the top and the bottom. That dot is going to tell me to go back to the vanishing point. That's what that dot is going to indicate, to go to the vanishing point. Now, we have to figure out where this window is going to terminate. It can't go on forever and ever. So we're going to give the window a width, and I'm just going to lightly put in a little guideline here. That's how arbitrarily wide I want my window. I'm going to flip my T-square over just because it's a little smoother. Now I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point. I'm going to slide my T-square to the pencil, and I'm going to rotate it like it's a clock. And I'm going to stop at the dot. Once I stop at the dot, I'm just going to draw between those two vertical lines. Now I'm going to continue to rotate, 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 stop at the dot, and draw a line between those two lines. Now I know how big my window is going to be, so I can put that vertical line back in. Great. So you can see it's more of a trapezoid. The closer things are to that vanishing point, the more narrow they're going to become. Okay, so let's add a little border, just the same as we did before. Before we added the border outside of the window, so we're going to do the same thing again. Let's measure to make it nice and neat. Now here's what we could do. On the outside here, this is closer to you, so that's going to be a little bit wider. The inside, this side's closer to you, so it's going to be larger. Everything closer to you is larger in perspective. Larger in perspective. So I've put a 1/4 of an inch, and then just like a little less than 1/4 of an inch on this side. So I'm going to draw a light vertical line because some of it will be erased. Light vertical, a little bit of a light vertical. Now for the line for the top and the bottom, I'm just going to keep them 1/4 of an inch for both. Make a little dot, and make a little dot. Great. Now I'm going to flip my T-square over, line it up with the dot, rotate, 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 stop at that. Draw a line across, rotate, 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 stop at the dot, and draw it back into perspective. I have a little bit of an extra line, so I'm going to erase. Now, in this side of the picture, the vertical lines stay the same. They don't have to go in perspective, but the horizontal lines go to the vanishing point. So let's make that center line of the window. Okay, so my window was a little under 2 inches, so let's make my center spot about here. Okay, so there's my vertical line, not in perspective. Now my horizontal line does need to be in perspective. So I have a 2-inch line. I'm going to make a dot at 1 inch, and then just 1/8 outside of that inch. So I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point, slide my T-square to my pencil. Then I'm going to rotate and stop when I hit one of those dots. So I stop at the dot, and now I'm going to draw. I'm going to put my pencil back, rotate, stop at the dot, and draw. Okay, so now I have a window in perspective on the left. Now let's head over to the right. We're going to put some art, so that art is required for this project. Okay, same thing as before. We're going to start with our vertical line. Let's make some big art. Let's go 1, 2, 3 inches. Then we're going to put, as soon as you make that vertical line, you're going to put a dot on the top of the bottom, because that's going to tell us we need to go to the vanishing point. As soon as you do that, then you're going to make your second vertical line, just a little light guideline. Light. Barely see it. It's a whisper. Now I'm going to flip my T-square over. I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point, and I'm going to rotate my T-square like it's a clock and stop at the dot. Stop at the dot, I'm going to draw it back to the vanishing point. Then I'm going to rotate again, rotate, 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 stop at the dot, draw it firmly back to the vanishing point. Now I know that that little line segment's a keeper, so I'm going to go back and make it darker. Great. Now I need to gotta frame my art. We can't just have art hanging around with no frame. So again, I'm gonna make a line for my vertical that's gonna be wider when it's closer to me, and like a little bit more narrow at on the side closer to the vanishing point. The top and the bottom I'm gonna use the same measurements for, because they're going to the vanishing point. You'll notice every time I make a mark, I'm just making a dot. Okay, now I'm going to make my vertical here. I'm going to draw a little light because some of it's going to be erased, I'm sure. Vertical, vertical. Now I have to flip my T-square over, put my pencil on the dot, rotate, stop at the dot, and now I'm going to draw dark. You know, that's a keeper. Rotate, 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 stop at the dot. Draw the line. Great. Now I have a little bit of erasing to do. Just a little bit. Artwork. Let's do like, hey, it's some mountains. Let's draw cute little mountains. Some clouds. Can go back into detail later. Let's bevel those corners, same thing as before. When we did it, we're just going to line up from corner to corner, so they're going to be kind of all different angles when we do this. Corner, 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 corner. And over here, corner, 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 and corner here. Here we go. That is how to draw a window in perspective and how to draw some art in perspective on your walls.